The Galactic Dominion. In the depths of the Orion Arm, the Galactic Dominion reigned supreme. A vast empire spanning 1,000 star systems, the Dominion had conquered and subjugated countless alien races with its advanced technology and ruthless military might. Led by the imperious Emperor Zarkos, the Dominion sought to bring order to the chaotic galaxy under its iron rule. From the bridge of his mighty warship, the Imperator, Lord Commander Craxus surveyed his latest conquest, a once proud civilization now reduced to ashes and rubble. The alien species had foolishly resisted the Dominion's demands for submission and paid the price. Craxus felt a twinge of satisfaction at their destruction. It was the fate of all who opposed the Dominion's rightful dominance. As the Imperator's warp drives powered up to jump to the next star system, a ping sounded from the communications console. An incoming message from a distant Dominion scout ship, requesting immediate audience with Craxus. With an impatient gesture, the commander signaled for the message to be put through. The holographic image of Captain Zyloff appeared, saluting smartly. Lord Commander Craxus, Zyloff began. Our long-range scans have detected an unknown civilization on the fringes of Dominion space. They appear to be a primitive species, having only recently achieved basic spaceflight. Their technology poses no threat. Craxus leaned forward, his eyes narrowing. And why exactly should this concern me, Captain? We encounter primitive species all the time. You know the protocol. Subjugate or destroy them. Zyloff pressed on. Commander, this species, the humans, there is something odd about them. They have spread throughout their home system with surprising speed, establishing bases on their moon and the fourth planet. And our scans detected some unusual energy readings we can't identify. Craxus waved a hand dismissively. No doubt some primitive atomic energy they've barely mastered. You worry too much, Captain. Plot a course for this Earth. I want a full Dominion battle fleet at my command. It's time to show these humans the might of the Galactic Dominion. As the Imperator leaked into warp speed, Captain Zyloff couldn't shake an uneasy feeling. There was something about these mysterious humans that didn't add up. But the Dominion had crushed far greater civilizations before. Surely these Earthlings would be no different. On the bridge of the TDS Resilience, hidden in its berth beneath the surface of Mars, Admiral Elena Vasquez watched the incoming scans with a grim expression. The Dominion fleet had arrived at the edges of the solar system, just as they had predicted. For decades, Earth had been preparing for this day, ever since the first alien ruins were discovered on Mars and Luna. The alien technology had been painstakingly reverse-engineered in secret, away from the prying eyes of the public and the Dominion spies. The nations of Earth had pooled their resources to construct a vast network of hidden bases, shipyards, and research facilities. And now, their greatest achievement was about to be put to the test. Admiral, we're getting a message from Earth, Lieutenant Park announced from the comm station. It's the President. She's asking for a status update. Vasquez took a deep breath. Patch her through. The face of President Annika Singh appeared on the view screen, her expression tight with concern. Admiral Vasquez, what's our situation? The President asked without preamble. Madam President, a Dominion battle fleet has entered the solar system. They're holding position near Jupiter, but we expect them to advance on Earth within the next few hours. President Singh's eyes flashed with determination. Then it's time. Initiate Project Aegis. Let's show these Dominion bastards what humanity is truly capable of. As the transmission ended, Admiral Vasquez turned to her bridge crew. You heard the President. Signal all ships of the Terran Defense Fleet. Prepare for imminent engagement. And may fortune favor the bold. The crew erupted into cheers as the alert sounded throughout the hidden base. On the surface above, the red sands of Mars gave no hint of the furious activity taking place below. The Terran Defense Fleet, the secret weapon Earth had spent decades preparing, was about to launch. And the Galactic Dominion was about to learn that they had badly underestimated the ingenuity and determination of the human race. Earth's hidden strength. In the depths of Dominion space, News of the impending invasion of Earth spread like wildfire. The Dominion's client species whispered amongst themselves of the easy victory to come. After all, how could some primitive backwater planet hope to stand against the might of the galactic Dominion? But deep beneath the surface of Mars, Earth's forces were preparing to spring their trap. In vast underground hangars, powerful warships hummed with barely contained energy, their hulls emblazoned with the emblems of the Terran Defense Fleet. These sleek vessels represented the pinnacle of human engineering, crafted from the knowledge gleaned from decades of studying alien technology. On the bridge of the TDS Resilience, Admiral Vasquez stood tall, her gaze fixed on the tactical displays. Around her, the bridge crew worked with calm efficiency, making final preparations for the battle to come. "Admiral, we have confirmation from all ships," Commander Liu reported. "The fleet is ready to deploy on your order." Vasquez nodded, a fierce glint in her eyes. "And our allies on Luna? The lunar defense grid is fully operational," Liu confirmed. "They're standing by to provide support once we engage the enemy." Hidden beneath the surface of Earth's moon, the lunar defense grid was another marvel of human ingenuity. A network of immense railguns and missile batteries, the grid was designed to rain devastating firepower down on any hostile force that threatened Earth. Vasquez allowed herself a small smile. The Dominion thought they were facing a primitive, defenseless species. They were about to learn just how wrong they were. As the Dominion fleet emerged from warp speed at the edges of Earth's solar system, Lord Commander Craxus was surprised to see no immediate signs of resistance. Perhaps the humans were even more backwards than their reports suggested. They might not even be aware of the fleet's presence. "Commander, I'm detecting some unusual energy readings from the fourth planet," one of the Imperator's sensor officers reported, frowning at his console. Craxus glanced at the readout, unconcerned. "Probably just some geothermal activity. Nothing to worry about." But as the Dominion ships closed in on Earth, the true nature of those energy readings became apparent. With a sudden, blinding flash, dozens of warships erupted from hidden bases on Mars and Luna, their weapons already locked onto the approaching enemy fleet. On the Imperator's bridge, alarms blared as the sensor officer shouted in disbelief. "Commander, multiple contacts launching from the fourth planet and the humans' moon. Their warships and their technology. It's like nothing we've seen before." Craxus gripped the arms of his command chair, his knuckles whitening. This wasn't possible. The primitives couldn't possibly have technology that rivaled the Dominion's. It had to be some kind of trick. "All ships, engage the enemy," Craxus roared. "Destroy them utterly." But as the Dominion ships opened fire, they found their shots deflected by shimmering energy barriers that seemed to warp space itself. The human ships weaved and dodged with impossible agility, returning fire with weapons that tore through Dominion shields like they were made of paper. On the Resilience's bridge, Admiral Vasquez watched the battle unfold with grim satisfaction. The Terran Defense Fleet was holding its own against the Dominion's finest, thanks to the technological marvels they had developed in secret. But Vasquez knew this was only the beginning. The Dominion commander would not accept defeat so easily. She had to end this battle quickly, before the enemy could bring their full might to bear. "All ships, concentrate fire on the Dominion flagship," Vasquez ordered. "We need to take out their commander and throw their fleet into disarray." As the human ships focused their attack on the Imperator, Craxus could only watch in disbelief as his mighty warship buckled under the onslaught. Consoles exploded and lights flickered as the ship's systems failed one by one. "Impossible," Craxus muttered, his eyes wide with shock. How could the primitives possess such power? In that moment, as his ship burned around him, Craxus realized the terrible truth. The Galactic Dominion had gravely underestimated the strength and ingenuity of the human race, and that mistake would cost them dearly. The Terran Defense Fleet. As the Dominion fleet reeled from the unexpected fury of the human counterattack, Admiral Vasquez knew that the time had come to unleash the full might of the Terran Defense Fleet. With a nod to her communications officer, she gave the order that would turn the tide of battle. "Initiate Operation Aegis," Vasquez commanded. "Unseal the Olympus shipyards." Deep beneath the surface of Mars, ancient alien doors that had lain dormant for millennia ground open, revealing the true extent of humanity's hidden strength. From the vast underground shipyards of Olympus Mons, a second wave of human warships burst forth, their hulls gleaming with advanced alloys and bristling with powerful weapons. These were the ships that Earth had kept in reserve, the product of decades of reverse engineering and innovation. Built using technology that far surpassed anything the Dominion had encountered, they were the secret trump card that humanity had been waiting to play. On the bridge of the Imperator, Lord Commander Craxus could only watch in disbelief as his sensors lit up with countless new contacts. The human fleet seemed to have doubled in size in an instant, and the new arrivals were even more formidable than the first wave. "Impossible," Craxus whispered, his eyes wide with shock. "Where did they come from? How could the primitives have built so many ships without us knowing?" But there was no time for questions. The Terran fleet was already moving to engage, their weapons locking onto the Dominion ships with unerring precision. In the space of a few heartbeats, the tide of battle had turned, and the once mighty Dominion force found itself fighting for survival against an enemy they had badly underestimated. At the heart of the Terran fleet, the TDS Resilience led the charge, its advanced shields shrugging off the Dominion's desperate fire. On the bridge, Admiral Vasquez watched the battle unfold with grim satisfaction, her eyes fixed on the tactical displays. "Admiral, the Dominion flagship is taking heavy damage," Commander Liu reported, a note of triumph in his voice. "Their shields are failing, and their weapons are offline." Vasquez nodded, her gaze never leaving the screens. "Press the attack. We need to take out their commander and throw their fleet into disarray." As the Resilience and its sister ships poured fire into the crippled Imperator, Lord Commander Craxus could only watch in despair as his once invincible warship crumbled around him. Consoles exploded and bulkheads buckled, the ship's systems failing one by one under the relentless onslaught. "This cannot be happening," Craxus muttered, his hands clenching into fists. "We are the Galactic Dominion. We have conquered 1,000 worlds. How could these primitives defeat us?" But even as he spoke, Craxus knew the answer. The humans had outmatched the Dominion not through sheer numbers or brute force, but through the power of their ingenuity and determination. They had taken the technology of the galaxy's conquerors and turned it against them, creating ships and weapons that surpassed anything the Dominion had ever seen. As the Imperator's shields finally collapsed and the ship began to break apart, Craxus could only close his eyes and await the end. He had been bested by an enemy he had underestimated, and now he would pay the price for his arrogance. But even as the Dominion fleet fell into chaos and disarray, Admiral Vasquez knew that the battle was far from over. The Dominion would not take this defeat lightly, and they would undoubtedly return with an even greater force to crush the upstart humans. But for now, at least, Earth had shown the galaxy the true extent of its hidden strength. The Terran Defense Fleet had proven that humanity was a force to be reckoned with, and that the Galactic Dominion's reign of conquest was no longer unchallenged. As the last of the Dominion ships fled the battlefield, Admiral Vasquez allowed herself a small smile of triumph. The day had been won, but the war was just beginning, and Earth would need every ounce of its ingenuity and determination to prevail against the full might of the Galactic Dominion. Minds connected. In the aftermath of the Terran Defense Fleet's stunning victory over the Dominion forces, Admiral Vasquez knew that they had little time to rest on their laurels. The Dominion would undoubtedly be regrouping, preparing to strike back with even greater force. To stand a chance against the full might of the Galactic Empire, Earth would need to use every tool at its disposal. And one of the most powerful tools in the human arsenal was the neural interface technology that allowed the crews of the Terran ships to merge their minds with the ship's artificial intelligences. By combining human intuition and creativity with the raw processing power of the AIs, the Terran ships were able to react with lightning speed and coordinate their actions with uncanny precision. On the bridge of the TDS Resilience, Admiral Vasquez watched as her crew donned the sleek, skin-tight suits that allowed them to interface with the ship's systems. As the neural links engaged, she could feel the familiar rush of information flooding her mind, the ship's sensors and weapons becoming extensions of her own body. Around her, the bridge crew moved with fluid grace, their motions perfectly synchronized as they worked together to monitor the ship's systems and coordinate with the rest of the fleet. With their minds merged with the AI's, they were able to process vast amounts of data and make split-second decisions that no human could match. But even as the Terran fleet prepared for the next phase of the battle, Admiral Vasquez knew that they needed more than just advanced technology to defeat the Dominion. They needed intelligence, a way to anticipate the enemy's moves and exploit their weaknesses. That was where Project Prometheus came in. For months, Terran intelligence operatives have been working to infiltrate the Dominion's communications network, using advanced hacking tools and social engineering to gain access to the Empire's most closely guarded secrets. And now, as the Resilience and its sister ships regrouped and prepared for the next engagement, a small team of operatives was preparing to put Project Prometheus into action. In a dimly lit room deep within the Resilience, Lieutenant Samira Patel and her team of hackers worked furiously at their consoles, their eyes fixed on the streams of data scrolling across their screens. They had managed to penetrate the Dominion's communications network, but now came the hard part, finding the information they needed to give the Terran fleet an edge in the coming battle. "I think I've got something," Samira said suddenly, her voice tight with excitement. "It looks like a set of Dominion command codes. If we can crack them, we might be able to intercept their communications and gain real-time intelligence on their movements." Her team leader, a grizzled veteran named Marcus, leaned over her shoulder to study the data. "Good work, Samira, but we need to move fast. The Dominion will undoubtedly be changing their codes as soon as they realize we've breached their network." For hours, the team worked feverishly to decrypt the Dominion codes, their minds and machines working in perfect harmony. And then, just as they were beginning to lose hope, they hit pay dirt. "I've got it," Samira exclaimed, her eyes wide with excitement. "The codes are ours. We're in." As the hackers began to parse the intercepted Dominion communications, a picture began to emerge of the enemy's plans. The Dominion commander, reeling from his defeat at the hands of the Terran fleet, was preparing to launch an all-out assault on Earth, rallying every ship and weapon at his disposal to crush the upstart humans once and for all. But now, armed with the stolen command codes and the real-time intelligence they provided, the Terran fleet had a chance to turn the tables on their enemy. They could anticipate the Dominion's every move, exploit their weaknesses, and strike where they least expected it. As Admiral Vasquez listened to the hacker's report, a grim smile crossed her face. The Dominion had underestimated human ingenuity once before, and it had cost them dearly. Now, with the power of the neural interface and the stolen command codes at their disposal, the Terran fleet would show them the true meaning of human determination. Twilight of the Dominion. As the Terran fleet moved to intercept the oncoming Dominion armada, Admiral Vasquez knew that the stolen command codes were the key to victory. With the ability to anticipate the enemy's every move, the human ships could strike with precision and devastating effect. On the bridge of the TDS Resilience, Vasquez watched as the Dominion fleet emerged from warp, their ships arranged in a massive formation that seemed to stretch across the stars. But even as the enemy moved to engage, the Terran ships were already in motion, their neural-linked crews working in perfect unison to execute a series of lightning-fast maneuvers. Using the stolen codes, the human hackers had been able to penetrate the Dominion's communications network, flooding their channels with false orders and contradictory signals. Confusion and chaos began to spread through the enemy fleet as ships broke formation and commanders struggled to make sense of the conflicting information. And then the Terran fleet struck. Guided by the intelligence gleaned from the Dominion's own communications, the human ships targeted the enemy's weak points with surgical precision. Powerful energy weapons tore through the Dominion's shields, while swarms of nimble attack drones darted through their formations, picking off key systems and sowing further chaos. On the Imperator's bridge, Lord Commander Craxus could only watch in disbelief as his once mighty fleet began to crumble before his eyes. The humans seemed to anticipate his every move, countering his strategies with uncanny accuracy. It was as if they were reading his very thoughts. Desperate to regain control of the situation, Craxus barked orders to his subordinates, demanding that they rally their forces and crush the human resistance. But even as he spoke, he could feel a creeping sense of doubt and fear taking hold of his mind. These primitives, these humans, they were not like any enemy the Dominion had faced before. They fought with a tenacity and ingenuity that defied all expectations, their ships and weapons a testament to their resourcefulness and determination. Twilight of the Dominion. As the Terran fleet moved to intercept the oncoming Dominion armada, Admiral Vasquez knew that the stolen command codes were the key to victory. With the ability to anticipate the enemy's every move, the human ships could strike with precision and devastating effect. On the bridge of the TDS Resilience, Vasquez watched as the Dominion fleet emerged from warp, their ships arranged in a massive formation that seemed to stretch across the stars. But even as the enemy moved to engage, the Terran ships were already in motion, their neural-linked crews working in perfect unison to execute a series of lightning-fast maneuvers. Using the stolen codes, the human hackers had been able to penetrate the Dominion's communications network, flooding their channels with false orders and contradictory signals. Confusion and chaos began to spread through the enemy fleet as ships broke formation and commanders struggled to make sense of the conflicting information. And then the Terran fleet struck. Guided by the intelligence gleaned from the Dominion's own communications, the human ships targeted the enemy's weak points with surgical precision. Powerful energy weapons tore through the Dominion's shields, while swarms of nimble attack drones darted through their formations, picking off key systems and sowing further chaos. On the Imperator's bridge, Lord Commander Craxus could only watch in disbelief as his once mighty fleet began to crumble before his eyes. The humans seemed to anticipate his every move, countering his strategies with uncanny accuracy. It was as if they were reading his very thoughts. Desperate to regain control of the situation, Craxus barked orders to his subordinates, demanding that they rally their forces and crush the human resistance. But even as he spoke, he could feel a creeping sense of doubt and fear taking hold of his mind. These primitives, these humans, they were not like any enemy the Dominion had faced before. They fought with a tenacity and ingenuity that defied all expectations, their ships and weapons a testament to their resourcefulness and determination. As the battle raged on, the Dominion's losses mounted. Ships fell out of formation, their hulls shattered by the Terran fleet's relentless assault. Escape pods and debris littered the battlefield, a grim testament to the destruction wrought by human hands. And at the heart of the chaos, the TDS Resilience pressed its advantage, its crew working in seamless harmony to outmaneuver and outfight the enemy at every turn. On the bridge, Admiral Vasquez felt a fierce surge of pride as she watched her people in action, their minds and bodies merged with the ship's systems in a display of human-machine symbiosis that was as beautiful as it was deadly. But even as the tide of battle turned in Earth's favor, Vasquez knew that the fight was far from over. The Dominion commander, desperate and enraged, was marshaling his remaining forces for a final devastating assault. A massive energy signature blossomed on the Resilience's sensors as the Imperator's main weapon began to power up, its target clear, Earth itself. In that moment, Vasquez knew what she had to do. The Terran fleet had to hold the line, buy time for Earth's planetary defenses to come online. And the Resilience would be the spearhead of that defense, the unbreakable shield that would stand between humanity and annihilation. All ships, form up on the Resilience, Vasquez ordered, her voice calm and steady even as the weight of the moment bore down on her. We make our stand here. We hold the line, no matter the cost. As the battered but unbowed ships of the Terran Defense Fleet moved into position, Vasquez felt a deep sense of resolve settle over her. This was the moment that Earth had been preparing for, the ultimate test of human ingenuity and determination. The Dominion had sought to conquer and subjugate, to bend the galaxy to their will through brute force and terror. But the humans had shown them a different path, a way of strength through unity and innovation. And now, with the fate of their world hanging in the balance, they would show the galaxy the true meaning of courage. The final clash was about to begin, and the Resilience and her crew would be at the forefront, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. For the sake of Earth, for the sake of all those who called the blue planet home, they would fight to the last breath and beyond. The twilight of the Dominion had come, and the dawn of a new era was about to begin. And Earth would be there to greet it, unbowed and unbroken, a shining beacon of hope and defiance in a galaxy too long shrouded in darkness. Terran triumph. As the Dominion fleet moved into position for their final assault, the skies above Earth filled with the shimmering energy of the planet's orbital defense platforms coming online. Vast arrays of railguns and energy weapons swiveled to face the oncoming threat, their targeting systems linked with the neural networks of the Terran ships in orbit. On the TDS Resilience's bridge, Admiral Vasquez watched as the Dominion ships began to power up their weapons, the stolen command codes giving her a real-time view of the enemy's movements. She knew that the coming battle would be the hardest fought yet, a desperate struggle for survival against an enemy that had been backed into a corner. But even as the Dominion fleet closed in, Vasquez could see the fear and uncertainty in their movements. The human fleet's relentless assault had taken a heavy toll on the enemy's morale, and the loss of their command ship had thrown their ranks into disarray. All ships, prepare to engage, Vasquez ordered, her voice steady and calm. Focus fire on the enemy's lead elements. We need to disrupt their formation and keep them off balance. As the Terran ships moved into attack position, the orbital defense platforms opened fire, sending a storm of projectiles and energy beams scything through the Dominion fleet. The enemy ships reeled under the onslaught, their shields flaring and failing as they struggled to return fire. And then the Terran ships joined the fray, their weapons adding to the maelstrom of destruction. The neural-linked crews worked in perfect unison, their ships moving with a fluidity and precision that no organic crew could match. Swarms of attack drones darted through the Dominion formation, picking off key systems and sowing chaos in their wake. The Resilience and her sister ships pressed their advantage, pouring fire into the enemy's ranks even as they danced nimbly away from the Dominion's desperate counterattacks. On the Imperator's bridge, Lord Commander Craxus could only watch in despair as his fleet crumbled around him. The humans had outplayed him at every turn, their stolen command codes and neural-linked crews giving them an insurmountable advantage. And now, with his ship crippled and his forces in disarray, Craxus knew that the end was near. The Dominion had underestimated the humans, had thought them weak and primitive. But now, as he watched the Terran fleet systematically dismantling his own, he realized the true depth of his error. These humans were not weak. They were strong, stronger than any enemy the Dominion had ever faced. And their strength came not from numbers or brute force, but from their indomitable will, their unbreakable spirit. As the last of his ships fell silent, Craxus bowed his head in defeat. The Dominion had been beaten, not by superior technology or overwhelming force, but by the sheer determination and ingenuity of a species they had once dismissed as beneath their notice. On the Resilience's bridge, Admiral Vasquez let out a long, slow breath as the last of the Dominion ships surrendered. The battle had been won, but at a terrible cost. The Terran fleet had taken heavy losses, and the wreckage of destroyed ships littered the battlefield like a grim testament to the price of victory. But even as she mourned the fallen, Vasquez knew that their sacrifice had not been in vain. Earth was safe, its people free to chart their own course among the stars, and the galaxy would never be the same. The defeat of the Dominion would send shockwaves throughout the known universe, as the client races and conquered worlds learned of the upstart humans who had brought the mighty empire to its knees. Some would seek to ally themselves with Earth, eager to share in the human strength and ingenuity. Others would view the Terran victory with fear and suspicion, wary of the new power that had arisen in the galactic stage. But one thing was certain: the age of the Dominion was over, and a new era was dawning. An era in which Earth would take its rightful place among the great powers of the galaxy, no longer content to hide in the shadows. As Vasquez looked out at the stars, she felt a sense of pride and purpose swelling within her. The road ahead would not be easy, and there would undoubtedly be new challenges and threats to face. But Earth had proven itself equal to the task, and she knew that her people would rise to meet whatever lay ahead.